Here's what not to do. I got to move through this quick. Look at this crap. Oh, she's hot. That's the good thing they got going on for them there, although she looks somewhat metallic. But it's just really too busy. There's all kinds of crap over there to attract my eye, and I'm not really attracted to the form. I'm attracted to them. You know, that's what you don't want to do. There's too much going on there. So cheese ideas, how do you get them? Bestsellers on Amazon. If you're going to give away a book, look at the head. Go to just Google bestseller Kindle, and you're going to pull out the best-selling books on Kindle, and you can pull them by category, right? Just click there, and you'll pull up examples like this: personal development for smart people. You know, that would be a great lead magnet because most smart people think they don't need personal development. It's kind of an interesting niche. This guy's a freaking genius. You know, a freaking genius. Look at that face. Every day of Friday. What's your favorite day of the week? Friday. Everybody's favorite day of the week. How to be happier 7 days a week, you know. 7 habits of highly effective people. This can be adapted to anything. It really can. The seven rules to being a better crocheter. You know, it doesn't matter. The hunger fix. Fix is a big one. But they've got a bunch of stuff up here that really is some cool copy at the top of the page. But the fix is the big deal. But notice this was an interesting thing for your lead magnet pages. The cupcake. Who would think to put a cupcake on a diet book? You ever watch diet ads on TV? What's on them? Food. Food, dessert, chocolate, ice cream, etc. This is one of my favorites ever. Be a great lead magnet for your business. Lance, you could switch this for guys, but it's great for girls. Make him beg to be your boyfriend. Does that sound pretty simple? Sounds like there's some ninja trick to do that, right? But look at the image. It's the chick standing up here, the guy down on his hands and knees begging, right where they want us, right? They love us there. And notice the 6 simple steps. You'll find that in almost everything. There's numbers. Numbers are very specific. They imply a promise, right? You know, and most people want, 6 simple steps. That's easy to follow, you know. But it's an implied promise. So lead generation rules, remember the cheese. Hacks, tricks, and loopholes work best. Don't make your lead magnet some broad-based thing about your market. Make it a trick, a hack. And one of my favorites was Eben Pagan's kiss test forever in the dating market. It was the #1 lead magnet. How to know when a girl's ready to kiss you. You went to the next page. It was 1 paragraph. Says you lean toward her 60%. If she leans forward towards you, she's ready to kiss you. If she don't, she ain't. Or you got bad breath, right? But it was that one little paragraph delivered on the promise, and you moved on. Now, Richard's going to show you how we've kind of skipped even that process and done something really cooler. Free samples in software work better than information. Remember, this is your first transaction. Be mindful of consumption before purchase. That's the thing that Hebert said earlier, and he's right about that. Physical products work great to get a lot of leads, but you're going to have to wait a little longer to market to them because it might take them 3 or 4 days to get the stuff, right? The software is probably better because they're going to get it right away in financial calculators. Be mindful of consumption before purchase. Because if you give them worst thing you do, everybody was teaching for a while, give people a 7-day mini course or a 14-day mini course. Dumbest thing ever. Yeah, here's 14 days to stall out before I sell you something. Second page details are real easy to get. This is a thing that we've learned this year, that if you ask once they've opted in on the second page for much more details, they'll give them to you, about 60%. Are you going to share the stats of that? I wish you would, because I think that would be instructive. How would y'all like to know how much did we make? $200,000 on a webinar before we did the webinar? It's about that, isn't it? We made about $200,000 on a webinar before we did the webinar. Anybody want to hear about that? Yeah, pretty easy. Phone follow-up will quadruple ROI. Is that true, Hubert?
Yes.
I mean, Hebert Centers is in the financial business. They discovered an amazing piece of technology this year that's quadrupled his business. It's called the telephone. Direct mail will convert 2 to 3 times what email will to these lists. Okay, so I was going to give me a victim there, and I'll do that. But first, what I want to do until then, I'm not going to do that right now, and I'm not going to take questions right now. I'm not going to do anything I promised right now. I'm actually going to introduce to you one of the man that has the butt Arsenio Wall wishes he had. No. Richard Lindner has been with us. He's been with me for, I guess, 9 years now? About 9 years, which is like 143 dog years for working with anybody, for working with me. And with Ryan and I for about 6 years now. He is, Ryan and I sit around, and we were talking about earlier mental masturbation, that we sit around and do that. We do that a lot. Richard's the guy that gets everything done. He's built more sales funnels, I believe, than probably anybody alive. I'm not kidding, because I've written probably more sales letters than just damn near anybody alive. He's probably built well over 100 very sophisticated funnels. Infusionsoft calls him to ask how to do things. So that, I'm not kidding. I'm not kidding at all. You know, he's on a consulting team with Infusionsoft to work with them on how their funnel build should work. He has great marketing. I can't think of enough good things to say about him. I wish he weren't here. It'd be easier. Which you could be a lot easier. But Richard's going to talk to you about the mechanics of the process and how funnels work in the physical sense. My job is always the message. That's what I do. But my message without proper mechanics would not do well. You can actually take mechanics like Richard's got and take a shitty message and make quite a lot of money with it, which is pretty remarkable. If you pair the great message together with great mechanics, that's when you do $10 million launches. And this guy is probably the number one expert in the world at pulling that off. So let's give Richard Lindner a hand and bring him up.
That was awesome theme music.
You like that?
I did. Thank you. I appreciate the insight. How's everybody doing? You guys having fun? Anybody ready to go home yet? No? Because we don't have to do this. Yep. Go watch the Masters. That'd be fun. Can someone come up here and set this up? I actually have a little story I want to tell. Anybody available to do that? I'm going to set this here and just assume that's yes. Okay, so Perry's told you guys some interesting stories, and I want to kind of start off telling you one too that actually validates a lot of what Perry's been saying here. So he's talked about temporarily suspending someone's beliefs and giving them a Buddha, giving them something to believe in higher than themselves, right? It's one thing to think about that in the application of marketing, but what we don't realize is that happens to us every day, and I've got an example that I want to share with you guys that happened Thursday night, right? So I live in Austin. It's about 3.5, 4 hours from here. I've got a beautiful family. I have a gorgeous wife and a 5-year-old daughter and a 4-month-old daughter. So I decided to hang back a little bit instead of heading to Dallas and spend some time with my family, help my wife put my daughters to bed. So I left around 8:30. Put me here around 11:30. It's nice. You have 4 hours. It's a long time to think, and before you get on stage and talk to people who are obviously high level in business, or they wouldn't be here. It's nice to have some time to reflect. But I got here, and I was really, really hungry. But I had a lot of really good ideas in my head, so I went right up to my hotel room and I started putting some stuff down, and I kind of got caught up. Right? So it's about an hour and a half later. It's almost 1 in the morning. I'm freaking starving. So I called down to the front desk. I said, "Hey, man, what's around here that's still open? I'm starving." The guy says, "Well, what are you thinking about?" I said, "Oh, I'd kind of like something good." He says, "Well, there's a Denny's." I'm like, is there anything else? Nope. Huh. Okay. Well, Denny's it is. He said, "Well, hold on real quick. I'm going to tell you something. They have a T-bone steak that's fantastic." How many people here believe that? Okay. At 1 in the morning, hungry, not drunk, I said, I don't know. He said, no, really, this T-bone steak, you'd never believe it, but this T-bone steak is fantastic. You can even get it with shrimp. Well, holy shit. I can get some shrimp with that too. Now maybe, okay. This guy knows his business, right? He works at a hotel. He probably tells people where to go eat. He was able to temporarily suspend my belief, and guess what I did? I called Denny's and said, hey, I hear you guys have a fantastic T-bone steak. Lady on the phone says, oh yeah, it's great. Everyone loves it. All right, I'll have one of those. Hey, I hear you have some shrimp too. Oh yeah, we have shrimp. Well, throw that in. She said, we've got some cheesy garlic cheddar mashed potatoes too. Well, yeah. Well, I'm not going to get steak and shrimp without some cheesy mashed potatoes. So now I'm kind of excited about this steak, right? We get this fantastic steak from Denny's. There were a couple of points, even though my belief that Denny's food probably sucks was temporarily suspended, a couple of points where a logical fella probably would have said, I don't know. The first one is, all right, sir, that'll be ready in 5 minutes. Well, son of a bitch. You've got a great T-bone steak, and you can make it for me in 5 minutes. Why isn't everyone at Denny's? I hop in my car, head 2 blocks over to Denny's, and I walk in and went, this might have been a mistake. But I didn't say, hey, don't give me that steak. You guys probably make pretty good eggs and bacon, because let's be honest, it's pretty hard to screw up. Because I would have had to admit that I just made a stupid decision. So instead, I walked up and said, hey, I'm here to get my T-bone. She said, awesome. Do you think you're going to need any A1? Probably. Great. We'll take care of that. Big bag, head back to my hotel room. I'm still trying to be excited. Sit down, open up the box, start tearing into this, right? Who here's ever cut a steak with a plastic knife and fork? Who here's ever cut a really bad steak with a plastic knife and fork? It's more like ripping flesh. Yeah, there you go, right? Descriptive. So I take the first bite of this steak that was raw. It was awesome, except it wasn't. They forgot the A1, right? That's okay. I'm going to power through because, again, I'm not going to admit that I'm wrong. So I'm eating this steak. I'm on bite 2. At this point, I decided dipping it in this vat of cocktail sauce that they provided with me has to be better than eating this crap as is. And by this time, I'm holding it by the bone that I'm not really sure was a bone because the knife and fork are useless. Now, I did eat the garlic mashed potatoes, and they were pretty damn good. The shrimp, not too bad. Fairly certain they weren't fresh, but they were fried, so it was okay. At about bite 3, I finally decided that I'm willing to admit failure. I made a stupid decision. Put it up, threw it on the side of my hotel room, went to bed. At 4 o'clock in the morning, I woke up. Oh my God, what is that rancid smell? What's the steak? I said, shit, I forgot to take that steak and throw it outside. So I'm in my boxers, I hop up, grab this bag, right? I don't want to be walking around in the hallway because I'm in my boxers. But let's talk for a second. Let's talk for a second about status, okay? How many of you know what hotel room I'm staying in? Good, that would have really freaked me out. But here I am at 4 in the morning with a bag of nasty Denny's rancid steak. All I really need to do is get it outside of my hotel room so that it no longer stinks of rotting meat. But I don't want it by my door because the maid might realize that I went to Denny's and that would mean that I have a lower status. I'm poor, right? I can't afford to go get a good meal. So I walk over to my poor neighbor's door in my boxers at 4 in the morning and I set the bag down next to that asshole's door. Ugh, that guy ate at Denny's. So a little bit of a funny story. I really told you that to validate everything Perry said and show you how it doesn't have to be in marketing. This happens every day. The guy was able to temporarily suspend what I knew was never a possibility. There was no way Denny's had a great T-bone. Come on. And there was definitely no way a great T-bone was going to be done in 5 minutes. But I bought in. They temporarily suspended my belief because he had some level of expert, at least in my mind. He doesn't anymore, but he did. And I went and ate it, but I was still embarrassed enough. And when Perry made his point about using this the right way and the wrong way, that's definitely the wrong way to use it. And when he talked about temporarily suspending someone's beliefs and then not providing a quality experience, and what happens the next day? Do you wake up and do you feel guilty? Do you wake up and do you feel good about your decision? I'll tell you, I woke up and felt like shit. All day yesterday, I felt terrible. My stomach was killing me, and it was all because of a very poor decision I made. So this stuff works. Make sure that you use it for good, and don't send people to Denny's. With that being said, let's dive into this presentation, and I'm going to talk to you guys a little bit about how to take this stuff that Perry's teaching you and put it into a functional environment where people can actually pay you money for it. Okay, and that's not even the first slide. We can start there, but it'd probably be a pretty lackluster presentation. So I call this presentation Psychic Sales Design, Architecting the Perfect Sales Funnel. So my goal today is to make sure you understand how to build the perfect sales funnel for your business. So first, let's start with what is a sales funnel. You're all high-level people. You all have businesses. You should understand this. But when I've talked to people in the past about sales funnels, and they're like, oh, yeah, well, here's my upsell and here's my downsell, right? That's not the start of a sales funnel, okay? Most of the heavy lifting's done by then. So a sales funnel is a systematic approach to selling a product or service, including your marketing, right? So how are you driving people there? That's the start of your sales funnel, right? If you're driving the wrong people there, that's the start of a bad sales funnel. So like Perry said, when you're going in and you're looking at demographic information, at psychographic information for your potential prospects, you're actually starting your sales funnel. So your lead capture page or your landing page, how are you collecting your potential prospects, hopefully qualified ones? How are you collecting their email addresses? Your follow-up series, luckily a lot of this stuff you guys are going to have, if you don't already, before you leave here. If you do, hopefully you'll have some tweaks to it. It's your offer, right? Your front-end product, your tripwire. In some cases, it's going to be a very low-dollar tripwire. In others, maybe you have a different funnel that you're going straight to a higher-priced offer, and that's okay. There's not just one way to do this. Your one-click upsells, right? So if you're driving traffic, this is really where you're going to be able to monetize those upsells and get your immediate ROI up enough to be able to continue buying traffic. And your customer follow-up series. This is one big part that most people miss, right? Great, you gave me money. Thanks, I'm just going to talk to you like everybody else because you're no more valuable to me than the person who just gave me their email address. So this is what it should look like, okay? And there's several variations, but we're going to start with a lead capture page. Once they opt in, we're going to go over to a sales page. Right here, this is where most of your marketing efforts are being lost, at the order form. No one even includes that in their sales funnel, right? Because my shopping cart provides that. Who cares? All I have to do is get them to click the button, right? Once they click the button, their money's pretty much mine. Unfortunately, that's not the case in most industries. If you're selling information, you're probably looking at a 70% or higher. 85% is not unheard of. Cart abandonment rate. In e-commerce, it's actually higher than that. So if you're selling on an e-commerce store, your cart abandonment rate can be in upwards of 90%. So that is very much part of your funnel. How many of you guys have ever gone to an e-commerce store and put something in a shopping cart? All right? Surely all of you. How many of you guys have ever left that shopping cart and not bought said thing? Right? Was there any good reason? Sure, some of the time there is. But occasionally, you just didn't. You lost the urge for whatever reason. I did it last week. My wife said, hey, honey, we need some bar stools. I said, no, I can do that. I got a few minutes. Barstools.com is probably a good place to get them. Hey, you like these? Yep. Okay, cool. How many we need? 3. Terrific. Is this a good price? Yep. They have good pictures? Uh-huh. Free shipping? Terrific. Put them in my cart. Oh, my phone rang. Ooh, shiny. What was that? Perry just had a mind-blowing idea and I've got to go build it. Whatever the case may be, my attention was diverted. Those bar stools sat in that shopping cart. Eventually I said, I don't need this window open anymore, and my wife doesn't have bar stools. Now, eventually she will, and she'll probably pay a whole lot more for them than I would have right then and there, but still, I didn't complete the order. That's part of this funnel or any funnel that's just ignored and it's costing you so much money. So then we're going to go to an upsell. If someone says no, you should take them to a downsell. You should take them to another upsell more than likely, and then a thank you page, right? So that's a pretty simple funnel. So let's kind of talk through this a little bit. Let's talk about best practices. You need to create a high-value lead magnet, all right? Something like Perry was just talking about. Is it physical? Is it software? What are you giving these people? And don't make it crap, right? This is the first transaction. This is the first buying transaction, even if the purchase price is your email address. This is the first transaction that these people are having with you. If it's a crappy one, they will not give you money. Luckily, you should leave here with a really good understanding of what that lead magnet's going to be and hopefully some copy for it, right? Next, you need to create a prospect follow-up series. You'll probably leave here with one of those as well, so you guys are ahead of the game. You should make an offer. Ask for money. They want something, you have it. Ask them to give you money and you'll give it to them. Create a cart abandon series. So this is big. This is what I was just talking about. We'll go into this in a few minutes. But you know what barstools.com did to me when I didn't buy those bar stools? Not a damn thing. Do you know if they just sent me an email the next morning and said, forget something? This is still in your cart. Do you want to finish this? Just click here to continue your order. I'd probably have 3 bar stools at home right now and a happy wife, right? They'd have done me a great service by doing that. But they didn't. You need to create an upsell downsell path. We'll talk about that here in a minute as well. Have an upsell abandon series. There's a terrific idea. If a cart abandon series is good, wouldn't an upsell abandon series be better? You've got a buyer, so they've successfully completed a transaction with you. If you offered them a relevant upsell that they should have taken, right? And we'll talk about that in a second as well. Why wouldn't you say, hey, Hubert, I'm screwing. You bought this product and you didn't buy this. Now I know you want it. Want to come back and buy it now? You know what some people will do? They'll come back and give you some more money. Then you need to allow your customers to choose their own adventure. And that's really cool. And that's something I'm going to touch on a little bit today, but I'm really going to go into depth tomorrow. It's something that's really going to be your communication funnel, right? So you should parallel your online funnel with a communication funnel. And that's not just for that core purchase. And we're going to talk a lot about that tomorrow. So let's talk about the 3 areas of funnel design, because this is important. Most people say, I need a funnel. Awesome. What should it do? Well, here's all the copy. That's terrific. We're done. Sales copy is big. And this is obviously assuming you have a product or multiple products to sell. You need sales copy. Good news again, you guys probably already have some, or you wouldn't be able to afford to be here. You're probably going to have a whole lot more when you leave here, so we can pretty much check that off. You need page design and graphics, okay? We're going to go over some of our better converting pages. You guys can knock those off. They're pretty simple. If not, there's a million places to go get graphic designers. If you already have your sales copy, it's quite easy. This is kind of the harder part, this funnel functionality, right? You have to make everything work. Now, it's easy to go create a web form in Aweber or Infusionsoft or One Shopping Cart or Office Autopilot and tell it, hey, when someone opts in, go over here. But we're going to talk a lot about intent and interaction and talking to people based on actions that they took. Now, that's a little bit more difficult to set up, but it's not at all impossible. I do it every day. I've got a team of 5 people that do it probably better than they do anything else in life because, as Perry mentioned, he kind of writes a lot of copy, so he keeps them busy. So let's start at the top. Let's start with the lead capture page. And Perry already showed you a couple of these, but I'm going to walk through a little bit of the psychology behind the design of each of these pages. So this was one of our squeeze pages for the 100 books a day. It's something that Perry showed. This page actually got a pretty good conversion rate. It didn't get the best conversion rate out of our split test, but it beat the hell out of anything else we'd done in a long time. This got about a 54% conversion rate. Pretty simple, right? It's a headline, and then it's a picture. The big thing to look at here, or notice, okay, I just turned it off. Big thing to notice here, where is this girl next door looking? Right? There's 2 places that someone, if you're using a picture of a person on your web page, there's 2 pages that there are 2 places that they should be looking. They should either be looking dead at you, the person viewing the web page, or better, they should be looking wherever you want that person to take action, right? She's looking at this opt-in form. What do you think the focus of this page is? Hell, even the picture's focused on it, right? So this converted about 54%. If you have a designer or you can log onto Elance, this should be very simple to knock off. Same thing here. Same offer. One of our split tests. This converted, believe it or not, this converted slightly less than the girl next door. But wait, we've got boobs. They're not real big. No, Hubert, they're not. But who here's heard that boobs sell, right? When you're making a Facebook ad, what should you include? Boobs. Boobs are awesome. Even girls like boobs, right? Ladies. I'm sorry? You did, but they were a little aggressively large. It was borderline porn. Again, she has boobs. That's good. That's a start. More importantly, she's focusing on the desired outcome. Where is she looking? Where we want someone to take action. So this one still converted about 53%, almost 54%. Believe it or not, this page converted higher than both of those. Very simple, flattened image. We tested this against some of the virtual pics, right? So a virtual magazine cover, a spiral-bound cover. People know that you're not sending them a book, or they don't, and that's even an even bigger problem. Make it look like what it is. Right? When we did that, we got a higher opt-in rate. It's pretty counterintuitive, but it's the truth. We took it one step further and went even more plain, and this one converted at 64%. This is the most boring web page. When my graphic artist created it, I basically told them that if this was the best that they could do, that they probably needed to work someplace else. Then later, I had to kiss their ass and buy them an iPad because it converted at 64%. So I'm the asshole. Let's look at a different vertical, okay? We do a lot in the survival and preparedness space. This page, again, pretty much the same thing. All we're doing is trying to evoke emotion with a picture, right? So the picture in the back, if you're into survival and preparedness, you're going to freak the hell out if you see this, because you know one day something's going to happen. It's going to be bad. You're going to have to leave, and that's your worst nightmare. How to hide your guns. Boy, this was timely. You're starting to see a theme here with these pages. They're incredibly simple, right? How to hide your guns. Great headline, picture of a gun, some Constitution in the back, right? They're trying to take your guns. Again, all of these pages are converting at 50% or higher to paid media. Is Obama intentionally killing America as we know it? Well, hell yeah. You're damn right he is. I'm so convinced of that. I'm going to give you my email address. This one, we tested just this image with no virtual pick. We tested a flattened image like we had on 100 books a day. This variation won. Lesson, always test. Controls are only controls if you're testing against them, not if they're law. It's not a control then, it's just what you do out of laziness. Okay? How many people here have a control of what they're doing? No one. That sucks. 2 people, right? You have something you do over and over again, right? You have a way you sell things online. If you're not testing against that, or if you're only duplicating that with every new product or every new offering you take to your marketplace, you're losing money, right? Test everything. That's something that we do, and I hope that you guys will start doing that as well if you're not. Back to the very simple. But on this one, we used a simple little IP script. And this is survival. This freaked people out when we used it in a different iteration, and it did not boost sales. This time, it boosted opt-ins. Attention Texas residents. Obviously, I was in Texas when I took this screenshot, but this was a simple script that just said, hey, attention Delaware residents. You need to know what to do in your state when you need to get out. So that was about a 11% boost in conversion rate from a simple IP script. Back to this one, again, nothing special here. I do have a cool little trick I'm going to show you in just a second that took this from about a 53% up to over a 60% conversion rate. And it's real hard to do, but if you ask real nice, I'll show you how. So what if they don't opt in, right? We're getting 50% plus to opt in, but what do you do for the other half of the people that you're paying or your affiliate partners are sending or you're driving your list to, however you're doing it. What about the 50% that don't? Let's ask them again, right? Now, if you're buying PPC, Facebook, Google, any of the other PPC properties, more than likely you're not going to be able to do this. But you should have multiple funnels, right? You should have a funnel for your pay-per-click traffic. You should have a funnel for your media buys. You should have a funnel for your affiliate partners. And you should have a funnel for your house list, because all of those people are different. So on my media buys, I'm paying quite well to drive those people to my site. Now, I'm not paying per person I drive to that site on a sponsored mail or solo mail. I'm paying that list owner a check. If it gets me 1,000 eyeballs or if it gets me 5,000 eyeballs, that's up to my email creative, right? So when someone gets here, this is an opt-in page behind here, but they go to leave, I offer them a different ethical bribe, a different high-value bribe, because maybe they just didn't like the video, right? So I changed up the mechanism and said, hey, how about this report? This is going to get me 10 or 12% boost immediately in my opt-in rate. Guess where those people go? They go to the same place they would have gone if they opted in on the other page, because they get the report anyway, right? I'm just changing up the mechanism. Here's another example. So in our last launch of Authority ROI, we had individual pieces, right? So there was an Authority toolkit, which was basically 3 videos, 2 reports. We made independent squeeze pages or lead capture pages for each step, each report. If someone went to leave, we said, hey, hold on, don't go. How would you like my entire toolbox? They're already getting it anyway, but because we have very simplified landing pages, I will totally screw up my conversions if I take that report page and put 50 bullet points. You're also getting this and this and this and this and this. But some people want to know that. So we exit pop to here. Wait, don't leave empty-handed. Get your complete Authority toolbox. They would have gotten it anyway. That got me a 15% boost in my opt-ins during this launch. During a launch, you know what 15% equals in subscribers? A lot. Told you I'd show you something that took that simple page from 50 plus to 60 plus. Here it is. Anybody heard of Facebook? We did this for all of our Facebook ads, right? All of our Facebook ads that we were buying traffic to a squeeze page, we put them as a tab app. We'd never considered, because we're all real smart, just sending our list to that and really leveraging that Buddha, right? Facebook. Leveraging the credibility and authority of Facebook. Tried it in this launch. All of our pages went from converting at 50% plus, 50, 52% to 60, 64%. We didn't change anything differently. We ran a split test, worked on every one of them. So if you guys have lead capture pages, go make a tab app in Facebook. Put them there. You don't have to be logged in. I was logged in when I took this screenshot, but you don't have to be logged in. Still works if you're not logged in. That little writer downer, hopefully, writer downer, should get you guys a nice little boost if you have lead capture pages right now. Good news, the exit pop works too. Yes, sir. When I run a split test, I use Visual Website Optimizer. I'm driving traffic until it tells me that it's declared a winner and it's statistically significant. In most cases, during a launch, it's a couple hours, but it's thousands of conversions. Both. We typically don't do a lot of testing with affiliate traffic because that's just wrong, right? I'm either going to show your list the highest converting possibility or the lowest converting possibility. Just send me your traffic. That's a weird proposition. We try to get all of our testing out of the way. Now, that doesn't mean that if we have a great idea, we go and tell all our affiliates, stop, we're going to test something real quick. Don't send any more traffic. But for the most part, we have tested everything that we, or before we send it out to our affiliate partners, right? So most of that is paid and house. We start out with house. Once we hit some milestones and we know that what we're looking at on a house EPC, we'll roll that out to media and affiliates. Okay, so moving through a funnel, we've got our lead capture pages. There were a ton of simple examples. You guys should be able to recreate those in a matter of minutes. Now what? I mean, ask them to buy something, right? So here's a couple of examples. Here's a video sales letter for #1 book system. There's a video sales letter for Gone Before Gridlock. You'll notice that this one may or may not cater to those fear-based preparedness people. You have 27 minutes left to evacuate. That's actually a countdown timer from 30 minutes, which is about 2 minutes longer than the video sales letter lasts. A little sneaky, but really boosted conversions. This is actually the page that we tested the IP thing on again. You have 27 minutes left to evacuate, and we were real city specific, and it freaked people out. Customer service was flooded with emails from people like, what are you putting on my computer? How do you know where I'm at? Again, there's a time and place to use things like that, and if you're not thinking about who you're talking to, if you're validating their some of their fear. I knew you were watching me. I knew it. So the government told you, didn't they? Yep. Obama called me personally. He does that a lot. Okay, so long-form sales letter. This is a lot of what Perry's going to be talking about in some of the funnels that he's laying out. This is a tripwire, right? Guess what the lead magnet is for this? Sorry? It's the sales letter. You're opting in with the same headline that's on the sales page on the squeeze page. You're opting in to figure out, is Obama intentionally killing America as we know it? Read this sales letter. Make your decision, right? If you decide to give me $7, even better. How to hide your guns, same thing. This is the tripwire. They're opting in to read this. Has a very high conversion rate, 8 to 12% conversion rate on a low dollar offer, long form copy from a squeeze page. Now, on the flip side of that, Perry, did you tell the story about squeeze versus no squeeze on this? $7 report? Okay, he did not. Thank you, Hubert. Okay, I'm sorry? It's an IOU. It's a big one. Okay. Draw it? All right. It's not very difficult, but I'll draw it while I talk. So going back to that funnel that I laid out, right? You have your lead capture page. You have your sales letter or tripwire. So how many people think that if you're sending endorsed or paid traffic to a $7 report, that you'd need to send them to a squeeze page, assuming you're not giving them anything, right? Send them to a squeeze page, they get the ability to read the sales letter. Wouldn't it be better just to send them straight to the sales letter at $7? Yes, that's what we all thought, right? $7, you don't really have to do a whole lot of heavy lifting unless you've just cast the net so wide that they're not that qualified anymore. So our funnel went $7. Then we went to a continuity program, and we'll talk about why in a minute. So this was $19.95 a month. And then we went to, I think, a $67 offer and a downsell of a payment plan, right? 2 times. So why would you send your traffic to a squeeze page? Well, we didn't. The story of when Perry called Ryan at 4 in the morning was actually with this funnel, this $7 low-end funnel, right? To build a massive list of buyers, not a massive list of prospects. The math was simple. It was understated, right? He didn't come in and say the sales page is going to convert at 20% and this is going to convert at 30%. It was, hey, we're looking for about a 5% front-end conversion rate, right? I think I can get a 5% front-end conversion rate driving qualified traffic to a low-dollar report. Unfortunately, we missed the mark a little bit. When driving traffic straight to a $7 report, even though it was qualified, we got about a 2 or 3% conversion rate. Not terrible. But for all the back-end math to work, it really needed to be 5. So Chris Oyelokor, who's not here, he's our director of marketing, runs all of our analytics. He and I work on all the split tests together. Said, man, we've got to squeeze these people. We have to send people to an opt-in. He kind of talked me into it. Perry and Ryan, not so much. So we did what any good employee should do, and we did it anyway. And it worked. We get about a 50% opt-in rate, and instead of getting that 5% boost we were looking for, it was 12%. That micro commitment on the front end of just opting in to read this $7 report sales letter, that small little commitment weeded out 50% of the people that weren't really our prospects anyway, and bumped conversion rates from 2 to 3% to 10 to 12%. The more qualified the list, we saw up to 18%. So what if they leave without buying, right? Again, we're talking about the funnel, the process. How are you maximizing this process? We exit pop them on the lead capture page. Why not do it on the sales page? Now, there's a couple of ways to do this. Are you going to sweeten the deal, right? Are you going to give them access to something early? You allow them to preview the training. So on this, on this example, and this is from our preparedness division, we're going to actually exit pop them to the continuity offer that we make on the back end. We tested a ton of different stuff here, right? We tested get the report for free. We tested a different report. We tested the video sales letter for the higher ticket kind of Slack adjuster in the funnel. But when we went to a trial offer of our continuity, we immediately picked up about 8% of the traffic that was leaving to join our continuity program. Okay, so that's one way. Start your training for free. If you're driving qualified traffic, if they've opted in, if they've watched your sales video, they're at least interested. There's a buying objective, or there's a reason they're not buying, something that you have to overcome. Maybe the training sucks. I don't believe this can happen. I don't believe that it'll work for me. Perry's gone over a lot of those objections. Why not let them start the training for free? Those of you who are selling information products, this doesn't cost you anything. You don't even have to be slick about it. We've got a great content delivery system that we've built in-house that we've been using. All the customers that are now going through and using it are loving it. I don't have to make this work in there. It's a video on a damn page, right? Sometimes MVP works. Start your training for free. They opt in. They get the intro module that we just slapped a little audio on the end that says, to continue your training, click the button below right now. Okay? Sweeten the deal. Wait, get my best customer grabbing postcard for free. Wait, get the $1 million napkin mind map for free. Wait, watch one of my training videos for free. Back to one of the offers we already made, right? In this scenario, what we had done is we'd driven traffic straight to the sales page, not through a squeeze page, and when they went to leave, we're opting them into our lead magnet, right? Pick the low-hanging fruit off, educate the rest, and put them in a follow-up series. Again, sweeten the deal. Complete your order today and get this for free. So, all that, you've gotten some buyers, but take that back. You don't have buyers. You have people who've clicked the buy button. So don't start counting that money just quite yet. This is kind of something that I'm pretty passionate about. We have tested probably 200 variations of order forms in the last couple of years, right? Every little possible thing you could do to an order form, we've tried it. We've gotten our shopping cart abandoned down to around 23%, which is pretty damn good, okay? This was our control. The one on your left, the number one book system, was our control for about 6 months. Again, we're always testing against the control. Something to note, if you guys see down here, can't read it? Okay, what that is, most of our offers we sell at payment plans. 3 payments of $97, 2 payments of $97, okay? When someone clicks the buy button, they go over to the order form. At the bottom, we have a little toggle. You'll notice that the discount here is pretty predominant. It says, wait, get a discount, 1 payment of $241. Pay in full today, save $50 instantly. We get about a 60% take rate on that. When you think about the payment plans and you think about cancellations, credit card declines, we usually only collect about 80% of our payment plans on average. Now, when we go to cold media, that number skews dramatically. All right, so here's something that you guys, if you can do it on the front end, I would definitely suggest implementing this. So this was our control, right? This got us down from about a 50% cart abandonment rate through all the testing. What we're showing, the recap, the testimonials. The better the testimonials you have, the lower your cart abandonment rate. Okay, sucks when you're launching a new product. If you're not testing that product to your existing customer base before you roll it out, get testimonials, put them here. Get your guarantee seals. There's a bunch of stuff on these pages that have led to those low abandonment rates. This really changed everything, right? In our last launch, there was a buy button here. When they clicked the buy button, the order form dropped below. Now, we'd tested this before, and it was no real convert. In fact, on a couple of cases, this converted at a much lower percentage than just sending them out to an order form. But we tested it again in this last launch because we had tested it in the survival space on our tripwire, right? On our $7 reports, we went in and said, okay, as we've broadened the net, our conversion rates are dropping below that 5% mark. We have to get them back up. I don't know what the hell else to do. The copy's great. We put the order form on the page, it went back up to about 7%. So we said, hey, we've got this other division, we're doing a big launch, why not test it here? This gave us a 1% front-end conversion rate boost in a launch. We're going back and testing on every offer we have, because again, we have controls. We don't have rules. We don't have set-in-stone commandments that every page has to be created like this. If you do, it's wrong. You have to test. In fact, let's see if this works. The page that we initially tested it on that led us to try that is here. So just a normal $7 tripwire. Instead of having a buy button down here, we just had the order form. Right? Pretty simple to do. Kind of.